Hello, you're first, sir.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. You should go this way.
Hi. Hello. Good evening, everybody.
You need to get up and do this. Portia. Tell me. Say hello.
Oh, what's up?
So, okay, everyone. Hello, Raoulette. How are you? He's saying hello, sir, and everyone. So let me just go and check who's saying what. And read that out. Hello, Davida. Good evening. Good evening, Ope Sinola. Ape Sinola. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that name properly. It's a proper Nigerian name. Ape Sinola. Okay, Paul, good evening. Edwin, Pastor Edwin, good evening. Solomon, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Esther, good evening. Good evening. They're saying good evening, Pastor. Okay, guys, let's get started now. So don't forget to share as we're going on as well. So don't just share once. You can share multiple times and you can invite all your friends. Okay? All right, let's go. Kate, good evening. Good evening, everyone. So let's go. Stephen, good evening. Are you ready?
You want me to say something?
Yes, sir.
What do you want me to say? Did you tell them what we're going to be talking about?
Yes, I did.
You
sir.
told them?
Yes. And you can
Okay.
see the title.
Okay. Let's find out how ready they are. Can we find out if the voice is good enough?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Just let me know with thumbs up if you can hear us very well. Okay? Thumbs up, everyone, if you can hear us well. Oh, Queen Anastasia the first. Thank you. That's thumbs up. Very ready, sir. Gaining financial momentum is saying, good evening, Pastor Sunday. Very ready. Very ready, Pastor Sunday. Oh, lots of thumbs up so they can hear us very well. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. We are prepared for you today. So thank you for letting us know that you can hear us. Thank you.
Okay, if you are ready, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a picture ready here for everybody, but
Maybe I should read
I might
something
not.
out.
No, there is a picture here I wanted to present to everybody,
Okay.
but I might need one more minute or so.
Okay, let me read out. Say hello. Ade says, good evening, Pastor Sunday. Davida say, very ready, Pastor Sunday. And Ido says, we're ready, sir. Pastor Nikki said, increase DS's volumes, please.
I was concerned.
So he will speak. He will speak louder. I don't think it's your volume that needs increasing. It's just.
No, it's mic I need to bring closer.
Okay, let me do something here. Okay, that's been increased. Okay, Pastor Nikki, we've done that. Kate says very ready. Madupe says yes, we're ready. Esther says we can hear you well. Sign Ade says increase pastor's volume. Actually, Flora is saying the same thing. So I think I just need to give it to you.
Yeah, but you are
When you're ready. Okay. So we have Elizabeth, I am ready. Well done, Elizabeth. Let's go. That's our day saying that. Shegun says, hello, DSA family. Increase DSA. Okay. Pastor Ennis says, good evening, family. Ape Sino I'll just say Olaoye says more volume. Ezinwe says very ready. Well done. Nkechi said good evening. And Kel says top of the evening all. So I've only got a few people's comment here that I can read. Keep your comment coming. We'll probably read them later.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Pastor Nikki, you're ready.
Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja again, and fellowshipping with you today about the aftermath of the birthday celebration, 50th anniversary. Yesterday we spoke about how to party, and today I'm talking about product. Let's talk about celebration, partying. One of the greatest, not say partying, but celebration. One of the greatest form of celebration, and everybody is already aware of my scales of gratitude. One of my major scale, people talk about my scales of gratitude. I have 11 points on that scale of gratitude. So what's it all about? I'm going to talk about it one day, and I think I spoke about it one time, a little bit, on my live broadcast before, but I will be talking more about it as a separate topic one of these days in future. But right now, why I'm saying thank you to everybody I want to use the opportunity to say thank you to everybody that has expressed their gratitude, their excitement, their appreciation for the little work I've been able to do over the past 1 year. I want to say thank you to all DSA family members. I want to say thank you to all of you that celebrated me. And yesterday when I was talking about how to party the God's way, how to party kingdom way, that's not to condemn the people who did not party that way. That's just to teach them. That's just to teach all of us, to teach all of you, and let you know that there are better ways to do things. So I don't expect some people to get mad at me or get mad at DSA family and leave altogether our platform just because I corrected them. I think if we don't make mistakes, we would never get a chance to be corrected. So I think making mistakes is a good chance for us. That's why there is a blessing in mistakes and in failures. So there are really no failures. There are just opportunities to learn. So those people who celebrated the way they knew to celebrate, kudos to you, because at least you did something. And I want to appreciate you. Like I said, I don't know any other group of people in the world that would have produced the kind of result that you produced by celebrating DSA. So I want to just appreciate you for that and thank you a whole lot. But I want to raise the bar a little bit. I want to talk more about what appreciation and celebration really means to me. Since I said that we're a kingdom people, and as a kingdom people, the DSC family, we are blazing a trail. We are blazing another trail. We are setting a record on the earth on how things should be done. So I am thinking that I should actually truly reveal to you how things should be done and how to take things higher. What I showed to you yesterday was the example from Lagos, which is brilliant. And if you want to learn about that, you can go to yesterday's live program in the evening, or you could go to Lagos. 2 videos. I saw the second part of the video today. It was brilliant, wonderful. So that's one day to celebrate. That's one way to celebrate. And but let me tell you about other ways to celebrate for me. And I think my way of celebration and the thing that I want to talk to you about should also set a standard for all of you and give you an example of how kingdom celebration is supposed to look like. First of all, for us to be able to celebrate the kingdom way in a different way, we must, first of all, clear our mind from what we knew and from how we used to do things. So we already established how the world does things. When it comes to celebration, it's fun, it's music, it's excitement, pleasure. But we already told you what we needed, what Christian celebration means: kingdom focus, value systems, God focus. But today I want to talk about another thing altogether. So it's 1 year since I started doing live broadcast. So doing live broadcast for 1 year, how do I personally assess my effectiveness? How do I assess my work? And how do I expect you to assess your work? Principal just about the journal. So how do I expect you to assess your work and celebrate your success? How do we celebrate our success? How do I celebrate my own success and milestones? And how do I expect you to celebrate? And which I think is more kingdom way of celebrating. So after 1 year, which was not totally 1 year, but because we had a break, but let's say I have 1 year of celebration. This is the magazine here. This magazine here shows us, of course, about the result we've had over this 1 year. The first result we want to show you is this. Can you see the countries? Can you see the number?
Yes,
how many? Do I need to bring closer?
Up a bit to the yeah,
How many countries?
109.
109.
Yes.
Can you see it from the 1?
Yes. No, I can see from 7.
Okay.
Now I can see from 1
Okay.
to 109, yes.
Everybody else can see that then. Everybody can see that we have how many countries have been following us on live broadcast. So that's from 1 to 109 countries. Yeah. So 109 countries are the countries that I can remember that have been following us, that we could trace. It's possible that we left out one country or the other, but 109 countries in 1 year, not bad results. But that's on one hand. But for me, that's still not a result, right? That's just statistics. And of course, some people will be happy to see their pictures here.
They're asking if they can have, how can they get the magazine?
Oh, how can you get the magazine? You have to come to Ukraine because it's physical. Unless you have somebody who is based in Ukraine, you cannot get the magazine. Another thing with the magazine is that if you were here for the celebration and you got the early copies, and the copies were not, they were done hurriedly, and they are not firm enough. Okay, they were just, if you do like this too much, it could split. So, but this one is different. This one is being sewn with thread strong. Binding is better here, but it's sewn with thread. So, as a result of that, you can do anything you want with it. It will never fall apart. But the ones who bought it, if you bought this at my celebration, it's costing $40. The production is $75. $75, but we are selling it for $40. So if you bought it and it is the first one, the ones you bought, we are giving everybody the opportunity to exchange it for another one. Even though I've signed that one for you, I can still sign it for you, or you could still keep it. But what we want to do, why we wanted to exchange it, is that the bad one, we'll just give them out for free to other people, and we'll give you the buying one, you know. So anybody, if you are in Ukraine or you know anybody coming to Ukraine, you could get a copy of this. You know, if you know another copy of this, if you could bring, the only way to prove to us that you bought one is to produce the one you bought. So you can exchange that for another one. That's on one hand. But if you want to get a copy and you don't have a copy, you want to get a copy, you can still get a copy, but you have to get somebody to come to Ukraine to get it for you. So, DSA family, where are we here? Let me see us again. I didn't look at the number. That's a mistake. Because there are a lot of pages here, about 400 pages.
The chairman says she wants the magazine in Nigeria.
Yeah, you know, we've got to get somebody coming from here to Nigeria, or somehow. So this is the DSA family page. Can they say it?
Yeah.
DSA family page. Okay. Okay, there's another DSA family page. Some people might be able to recognize themselves. Okay. So we have 109 countries. What does that mean in practical terms? So these are the 31 series that we've done. You look into it.
Yeah,
Okay. So those are the 31 series. But here is important. Here is important. Can you see this? Can you read it?
I can read it. It says, in 8 months, Dr. Sunday Adelaja preached 760 hours, 45,000 minutes, or 15 years of Sunday sermon with a reach of 221.
I'm sure they cannot hear you because I have the mic.
221 million.
Yeah, so what it says here is that in 8 months, so how do I assess myself, right? In 1 year, is in 8 months, Dr. Sunday Adelaja preached 760 hours, which is 45,000 minutes, or in years, 15 years of Sunday sermons with a reach of 221 million, like 250 million people. So that's not bad. And then the statistic from Facebook is here. This is the official Facebook report here. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see
Circle
it.
there, right? Mm-hmm. So that is like the assessment, the result, right? But still, that is not a result to me as such. So how am I measuring my result? And how should you measure your result? What should you be celebrating? The best measurement of result and the best argument for celebration, the best reason for celebration is always product, tangible products, or physical products. So that's what I want to talk about today. If you say, let's say hello, I'm talking to someone. Let's say Mrs. Shorunke has been following me for the past 1 year. For me, she's not a bona fide. Is it been a bona fide, you said? Bona fide or bona fide? Bona fide. For me, she's not a bona fide follower or disciple of Pastor Sunday, just like I do here in Kiev. You are not a bona fide disciple of Pastor Sunday if you don't have a product. If your life is not producing something. Does that disappoint you?
Yeah.
It's good, but I'm not to blame for that. If that disappoints you, I'm not to blame for that. You should be producing products. When I see the artwork of T.O., that's a product. When I see his music, that is a product. But I'm talking about products now that come as a result of that 1 year you have spent. That 1 year that you have spent listening to Pastor Sunday, what product has you produced as a result of the investment of 1 year of your life? So if you have invested 1 year of your life to learn something, to listen to something, you must have a product. I think that's just logical. That's great. Okay, we can open it out. Yes. I think that's just logical. So the question is, I want all of us to do a soul session. No, from the top. You know the way to do it? Mm-hmm. No, the opposite, yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I want us to do a soul session. When you say that I got in touch with Pastor Sunday live broadcast last year, and I on day and night, that is process. That is process. Process is important, but the purpose of process is results or product. So even though many of us, we talk about, I come on day and night, I was following Pastor Sunday, I come on, now I'm changed. I want to see the product. I want to see the result. So if you say, I come on day and night, that's good, that's commendable. But if I don't see a product, you are still in the process. But you are still not there yet. Like, for example, look at Rochelle White, for example. I think that's a product. Because the last I saw of her articles, it was probably number 20. I think Rochelle White is on number 20 of our articles. I think she's written 20 articles from a series. She's done a series on, what does she call it? Is it Coming to Kiev? Or Rochelle White writes a regular article.
Yeah, I do.
I think she's calling it Coming to Kiev or My Visit to Kiev. My Visit to Ukraine or something like that. So that which Rochelle White is doing, that is a proof right there that she has a product. Those articles, 20 articles, if she just pulls them together, she got a book. That's a product. That is somebody who has invested 6 months or 1 year of her life listening to Pastor Sunday or took a trip to Ukraine. And as a result, as a product, 20 articles all over the internet. Put them together, you got a book. That's a product. Made one trip, has one product. High level of efficiency. This is Mrs. Shoronka here. I told you about her results yesterday, or her product. She came to Ukraine, HMT. She had many dreams and many visions in her heart before then. Many ideas. She wrote them to me. I know, that's why I know. But she was not doing them. But thanks to this relationship, to the live broadcast that she was participating, her life is no more the same. Let's say she is 40 years old. For 40 years of her life, she had been waiting to give birth to those dreams and visions in her spirit. But since 1 year, of listening, she started converting. Conversion process started. And she started bringing out full, concrete results, even though she's like no more going to church, but she's becoming productive for the kingdom. Maybe she's still going to church, but no more as active as she used to be, dedicated, fanatical about church. She's no more fanatical about church, but she's fanatical about God, fanatical about the kingdom, producing more concrete results. And what the product she is producing is very complex, very complex. How could you be on on Skype, organizing library or discussion group, library on Skype with different states, people in different states all over America and all over the world? But she even has other products that she's working on. So talking about product, I'm going to let her say a few words, and that is what she can talk about. So let's talk tangibility. Let's talk tangible. Let's talk gratitude. That is something to be grateful for. That is something to celebrate. A changed life, a result, food-filled life, a life that has brought forth result, a life that is making a difference, a life that is bringing laughter and joy to other people. What are the products your encounter with Pastor Sunday is producing? What are the products your 1 year of following, doing, waking up at midnight, early in the morning, all that lifestyle change, did they result in a product? That's what I want to know. And I want to give us a few examples today, not just of people who are here with me, but of some people whose products I am aware of. I want us to talk about that. And I want every one of us that is listening to me right now and that will listen to us later on to know that this is the way kingdom-minded people should think. We are thinking in terms of results. We are thinking in terms of products. We are not thinking in terms of excitement. So when people then see us and see our pictures in that wonderful, what do you call it? Ushered, in that wonderful orchard, there's a forest where we were ushered. In that wonderful orchard where we were having the celebration, that orchard with beautiful dresses, everybody, beautiful photographs, beautiful videos, dancing, with a pure heart and with a pure conscience. We could look ourselves, our conscience in the eyes, and look our God in the eyes, and know there are bases for that excitement. There are bases for that celebration. There are tangible, concrete, respected, reasonable reasons for celebration. That beautiful orchard, we deserve it. But did everybody deserve it? Let them answer for themselves. Those beautiful celebrations, we deserve it. Did everybody deserve it? Let them answer for themselves. What makes me know that I deserve it? My changed life and the products that my life has started producing thanks to my encounter with this man. Not just the excitement. The excitement must be based on something. So, Mrs. Shoronke, let's start with you. I started telling your story, but nobody can tell your story better than you. So, let's start with you. But I'm not going to stop only on her and people who are here. But I'm going to show you a few products that people from DSC family have started producing. Just thanks to the fact that they, 1 year ago, came across live broadcast.
Thank you very much, Pastor Sunday. I really want to thank you for your teachings. I want to thank you so much for just pulling out of yourself to give to us so that we can know who we are and understand our calling and, just like you said, produce products. Well, there are a couple of products. Me and my husband have been working on two major products. I won't get into depth about them. But one of the products that we were working on happened to be in much need in Nigeria. We had started working on this product, but we didn't have the kind of zeal and passion before we met with Pastor Sunday and his teachings. We were sort of dragging our feet on it. We didn't put too much effort. But when we were listening to Pastor Sunday, this passion, this vision that we had became so clear to us. And this project that maybe we had for 4 years or so, my husband just started getting on it. He started organizing. He started calling people from different parts of the world that specialize in certain areas of that project, and they were excited with the vision. They said, we are willing, we want this to happen in Nigeria, and the way this is put together, we are all in for this to go. And we introduced a couple of them to Pastor Sunday by phone. We had them talk with him so they can understand the kind of person that he was. They were absolutely excited. They come on and they listen on the show. And my husband completed this project in record time. I think it took him like 6 weeks compared to about 4 or 5 years just writing it and not really doing anything. But Pastor Sunday's teachings, and you know, my husband listens to his teaching from morning to night. Even in his practice, his patients have to bear with him because he's putting on his iPad, and everybody, the staff, the patients, they're all listening, because that really gave him the motivation to complete the product. And thank God, when we sent it to Pastor Sunday, we know that he was pleased with what he saw. So that's just me and my husband. We had those. But I also, as soon as I came in contact with Pastor Sunday, what really caught me, now I'm going to make a confession. At the presentation, they were doing a presentation on Pastor Sunday's books. And honestly, during the presentation, I was sleeping. But when the presenter said, and these books can be used to counsel people, I woke up from my sleep. I'm like, oh, used to counsel people? All these different topics that people need help with? I woke up, and I have been awake on that since. So what I did, I found out that in my life, for some reason, people call me about their issues. And when they're talking to me, I'm asking God, what do I give them? You know, I know that there are scriptures, but can I give them something practical? Can I give them a tool? I just couldn't find it. So I would just do the best that I can to help with the issue, to counsel, to give the person peace, confidence, remind them who they are in the Lord, remind them who they are in God. But when I started reading the book, Who Am I? Why Am I Here? It was like the pages of the book just flew out and attached to my heart. And I said to myself, wait a minute. I have a tool. All these people that are calling me. So I dedicated myself to that book, and I'm still not done with it. I'm literally eating this book up because I found that that's the core reason for many, many issues in people's life. Is not knowing who they are and not thinking that they're even relevant to anything on the earth. So I'll give you an example of what happened. I prepared myself very well, but I didn't know I was preparing myself for something that was going to happen. So I left Ukraine and headed on to London to my families. And as I was in London, I was going over this book, I was writing up and everything. I just started getting phone calls from DSA family in London, because I did call them to tell them that I was there, and I was just saying I'm here, I just wanted to say hi. But then I began to see that I was actually responding to some needs. And I came across a few people that told me that they have this issue, they're trying to get over this. And, if I want to told me, said, oh, I thank you for calling today. I just want to throw this before you and tell you this. So I listened, and the person concluded and said, and I want to call Pastor Sunday and tell him. I said, okay. I said, are you going to be calling him to talk about these different issues you told me? I'm just giving you one example. Oh, she said, yeah. She said, this issue, that issue. I said, oh, really? I said, do you have the book, Who Am I? Why Am I Here? Oh, yes, I have the book. I said, oh, great. I said, have you read it? Yeah, I've read it about 2 times. I've gone through the book. I said, great. I said, but you know what? Let us go to page 19. I said, get your book out. Let's go to page 19. Then I said, okay, then let's go page 89. And I started mentioning these pages offhand. And she would read and she would say, I read this book twice, but I don't remember this part. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And so as we began to go through the different pages here and there, she goes, oh, now I've been looking everywhere here and there for the answer of this. I said, why? I said, it's right here. This book has what you're looking for all over the place. I said, so now what do you want to ask Pastor Sunday? I said, Pastor Sunday is right here in your book. Everything you want to ask, and the answer is here. So I had those kind of encounters in London. In London. It was amazing. Then I have to tell you this one about my family. So my family was watching me read my book, Who Am I? And all that kind of thing. I didn't know that they put it to heart. But they would come back from work and ask me, oh, did you read your book? Did you read your book today? And I'm like, did you give me an assignment? I mean, they were actually interested in what was in the book. I would literally take the book and read it to them. So many testimonies, I can't even tell you, but there are testimonies from, I used to behave like this. They said, yesterday, I used to behave like this, but when I heard what Pastor Sunday said from his book, or I listened to him, now I feel different. I don't want to do those things anymore. I'm over with that. I was just hearing these kinds of testimonies of, wow, I always had this feeling about my status as a Christian, and now, wow, I've just found out that there's more to this Christian life. That is what I was hearing while I was in London. So I found out that my skills of counseling, advising, showing the light became stronger as I read and I digested the book. Now, the other thing is the book club. The book club started because somebody said to me.
So you started a book club?
Yes.
Tell them about the hour one. Through books or what?
Yes, we do it by phone, conference call. I do a few one-on-one, but conference call is the best way to do it. But the book club came about immediately because I was still planning. Remember, that was one of the things I sent you. I was still preparing for the book club. But it came because I was talking to somebody that knows me for a long time. And she just stopped and she said, wait a minute. She said, something's different about you. What's going on? I said, what's going on? I said, well, I've been going to see Pastor Sunday. I've been reading his books. I've been listening to the tapes. She said, really? I said, yeah. I said, I'm actually taking a mentorship program with him right now. I'm doing my studies and this and that. So she said to me, oh my gosh, she says, you know what? I want to be your first student. When you finish, I want to sign on and be your first student when you're done and everything. So we were talking, and then I thought to myself, what are we waiting for? I told her, I said, what are we waiting for? Let's do it right now. Let's do this teaching right now.
You see, life is not about excitement. Life is about results. She could all come back and get excited. I'm listening to Pastor Sunday. I read the book. Many people say, I've read the book twice. Excited. What do you produce the result? So, she's just saying, I'm listening to Pastor Sunday, but they saw the result, but I want to be your first student. That's the result. So, but she's going to produce even more tangible results, more product out of that. A whole product, book club.
So this lady, right away, I had to plan this book club. I called up a few people that were interested. Schedules are a little bit different, so sometimes we do it one-on-one, but the result that I got from the book club is that just even the first few pages of the book, there was practical. I remember there was one time there was practical silence. And I heard somebody say, oh no, you mean that I've been wasting my time and my life? And then there was another person that said, wow, I used to think that my life was my children.
And these your students, these your club members, book club members, they were from different states or different cities?
They were different areas. And
but so one person said he was living for
their family. their family, their child, and she lost one of her children, and life wasn't the same for her. Wasn't the same.
Because a lot of people are still thinking that life is just about them and their family.
Yes.
But life is about the kingdom, about the mission you are created for.
There was times of crying, there was times of silence, and I honestly tell you, there were also times that people actually, when I say delivered, I'm not talking about anointing oil or laying hands on anybody, but what we were reading from the book was producing deliverance. Yeah. There was a lady there, she really believed that she was being attacked by demons. She believed it. Then we went into the book, and then I began to show her that, wait a minute, even let's say that is even true. You have forgotten the tools that has been given to you. So we talked about the armor of God, and so I said, remember, you have all this. You have the word of God, you have the total armor of God. Use those things. Go over what we've read in the book. And the next day she called me. Until this day that I'm talking, she told me she doesn't even experience those things anymore. That demon is chasing her or something. Because as she's reading that book, in fact, her mind is not even there. So, now she's like excited about what am I called for. I always knew I was called, and now I know how to find my calling. So those are the examples with the books. Then, in the process, one of my ladies that have been coming on, Nefertari, she just sent me something through Facebook. And it was an article that says that California prisons are looking for more books. They don't have enough books in the prison. So she sent me that flyer. So I went to go and do some research to find that that was true, that they needed some books. So I said, when I get back, I'll talk to her. She's a librarian. She knows about books and how to get books here and get books there. So what I'm doing at this time is just having a strategy on how to get books to the prisons and what books of Pastor Sunday to take them to the prison. Then the other thing is libraries. My friend she's a Nefertari, yeah. She that's her thing, is the libraries. And so I want to find, I used to do this before, but this is going to be laughable. I used to go and put Nigerian movies, Nollywood movies is what I used to put in the library, and people used to come pick them up from the library, borrow. But now I know that I could use that same system now to put Pastor Sunday's books there. What they would do is just be borrowing the book, but I would be driving traffic in my local place about the book being there, so that people who are not able to buy the book can go to the library and borrow the book. So those are some of the things that I'm putting together. Then the last thing, in London, I was wandering around. I wanted to go to the library.
This is someone not even living in London, but she has left the footstep. Footprint. Just visiting. You see what a kingdom carrier could be. That's how we become kingdom carriers. Everywhere you go, there is an impact. But when you learn these kingdom principles, kingdom laws, you bring the kingdom, the rules of the kingdom, the orders of God. You change the world without any title, no pastor, no apostle, no prophet, no deliverance minister, just a God carrier. And this is what we want to cultivate in the DSA family. We're about reflecting God, carrying God, and imposing the kingdom of God.
While I was in London, I came across a nurse. I also talked about your project, Pastor Sunday. She's really interested. But anyway, we were talking, and she was giving me a feedback about women who are committing suicide, women who are giving birth to kids and they're not in their right mind. Depression, anxiety has overtaken them. And as I listened to the news, in America, we do have our thing. We do have the mass killings and everything. But what I noticed there, the news that I was receiving from the newspaper, from the news, was that actually people were killing themselves more from the news that I was getting. And I felt that the reason probably was because they felt that there was nothing else worth living for. That's why they were killing themselves. So I had a desire to go to the library there, and my cousins were able to locate a library nearby. So I went to the library, and when I got there, I said to myself, I need to know about this library. What do they offer? What is going on? So I went to the lady, she gave me this whole brochure about the library. I took the brochure back home and I was reading it. They actually, in that library, and they told me it's in quite a few libraries in London, they actually look for people who can come and talk to the community. If you have a subject about something, they allow you to come, make the presentation to the community, people who don't work or people who just retired or mothers that just have children, and they would come in and listen to your presentation. And I said, whoa, when I'm coming to visit, I'm going to set that up. And so I asked my cousins about it, and this is what they told me. They said it is true that volunteers do come, they put a program, oh, we're going to do this, and people go and the volunteer is not there. That's always the problem, that the flyer goes out, but the person is not there. I said, wow. So I said to myself, okay, when I have my next trip to London, I'm going to investigate, I'm going to do some extracts from some of the books, and I'm going to make it as a presentation for that community through the library. That was another thing that I said.
Thank you so very much. That is product right now. That is result we are talking about. Now, Mrs. Shoronke started her report by talking about who am I and why am I here book, and she has a glorious story to tell, and she started a library as a result. So the question I would like you people watching me, even if you are watching Pastor Sunday for 1 month, that 1 month could be enough, especially if you are watching him constantly. It's 2 times a day. If you are devouring his products for 1 month, that might be enough for you sometimes to produce a product. But sometimes we might not. Don't blame yourself. You could even be listening to him for 1 year and no result yet. That could be because of where you are coming from. Maybe you are so much in the minus that you need a lot of ground to cover to just come back to balance, to ground zero, before you begin to become plus. Some people, they will need that kind of, just compensation, just awakening for a month. Some people just need 1 day of awakening. Some people need a whole year of awakening. But if we are all very serious about listening to Pastor Sunday, and you are listening, not just to listen, by the way, just in passing, but if you are really dedicated listening to any of those messages 2 times, 3 times, and you are really listening to convert them and to make word flesh, you will be producing results in no time. I remember, we're talking about this book, Who Am I? That's just one book, right? Even though it's very important, but many other books are there. That, in fact, here in Ukraine, I have a project that is called University of Life Project. And University of Life Project is a project about maximizing Dr. Sunday Adelaja's books. And the minimum we get from every book is 20 projects. But maximum we have gotten from each book is 200 projects. Do you know that? Oh my. There's so much for me to tell the world. Is there any book of mine here? Anyway, give me one book.
English.
Yeah. Do you know that every single book of Pastor Sunday that you get a hold of, you'll be making a deep mistake if you just read Pastor Sunday's book and wait for the next one. If you have ever read any one of Pastor Sunday's books, and you don't have a product, not a single product at the end of the day, after reading one of my books, just one, then it means either you are not familiar with Pastor Dr. Sunday, or you don't know how to read his books. You don't know how to read them. Or you don't know how my books are written. My books are written in a thorough way, in such a way, we could have grammatical mistakes and things like that. That's not the idea. But I'm talking about written in a way that every book is impregnated. Every book is having embryos. Every book is full of seeds. Every book is pregnant. Let's say this book, for example. Man, I can't even begin to tell you how many projects have been given birth to different ones as a result of this book. But in this book here, there are at least 100 projects. That is why there are stories in the books. That is why there are examples in the book. That's why there are principles in the book. So for example, let's say the book, Who Am I? So here now, well, if you read it properly, with expectations to unveil projects, you will. This book here as well, I already have testimonies from this book of projects. I already have stories of projects from this particular book too. In this book, there are 200 projects in this book here, buried inside it. But I'm not even talking about this. And the reason I'm not talking about this to people who read them is because, first of all, I want to see how deep are people. Because you've got to be deep to be able to see those things. Just like somebody she was talking to read my book, Who Am I, twice, and never could resolve our problems or his problems. But she could because she was really studying them. Here, there are 200. This book here is called Mountain of Ignorance. There are 200 projects here. Projects like NGOs. That means you could start 200 NGOs out of this book. Not on one topic, on 200 different topics. That's what I mean by projects. This one here. Can you imagine how many projects are hidden here? And how strategies and tactics on how to implement them. This one here, 140 projects in this book. You look and see if they are saying the title.
Okay.
140 projects in this book. Did you hear the story about this book? The testimony on Facebook is on my Facebook page. Somebody who started to read it, read chapter 1, or introduction, chapter 1, preface, and vowed that I will not eat, nor drink, nor sleep until I finish reading this book. I will not even drink. I will not even eat. This is this book. Can you imagine how many projects are in this one? DSA family. By the time I'm through with you, give me your name. By the time I'm through with you, DSA family, we are going to be producing giants walking on the face of the earth. Giants walking like humans. All of you who are serious. All of you who are not overtaken by Uncle Sam, who are not sold to Uncle Sam, who are not overtaken by mediocrity and emptiness. All of you who really want to make a difference, who really are serious about this stuff. Not just the books, but those series, the playlist from YouTube, like we spoke about the last time. So, reason and think product. Don't just think excitement. Don't just think pleasure. Don't just think party. Don't just think celebration. Think results, product. Talking about who am I know Muiwa has a splashing testimony about that as well. because she came in here and she said, I can't find myself. I don't know what to do and who am I? I said, have you read that book? And then she told me, yeah, maybe she has read it. I said, did you listen to my teachings? They said, oh, yeah. That's how everybody is doing, I said, you cannot read that book and write the exams and answer the questions and not discover who you are. Oh, yeah. Okay, I will start again. So she started again. Before she finished, the explosion started happening in Mayowa. She would tell her story by herself. And even Mayowa started to come up with an idea of a product. She started producing that from that book, which is, she started doing her own show. And she got some responses already before I diverted her attention to come and be leading my program. So that is a product, and that is within a month of getting to Ukraine. Although unfortunately, when she was in London, even though she was listening, or maybe she was even reading something, but she couldn't produce. I think because of the vanity of the triviality around, we need to be able to overcome that triviality, of the, or the lifestyle of vanity around us. So, will you tell us your story and the product that God has helped you to produce, thanks to the fact that of course, you know what she's doing here. She's a star already. She's our DSA Oprah. But apart from that, she even had before then, she had some of these results just after coming here. And coming from where she was coming from, it was a world apart. And just by reading that book as well, one book.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Who Am I was the book that really, really taught me on how unique I am, and that God really expects something from me as his creation. I remember, I think I read it first time, I didn't really get it. I was asking everyone in the house that I'm really still looking for my purpose. I didn't get it. But that's not actually true. I actually got it because through that book I had confidence. Through the book I was I felt happy, I felt released. Just understanding alone that I am created uniquely and that God has a purpose for me. One thing I picked out of the book was that my purpose and we're all of value. So there isn't anybody that is of more value than the other. And there's nothing that I want to do, even if somebody else is doing the same thing, that I cannot do better, or I cannot do that I don't already have what it takes to do it. There's so many lessons in Who Am I that even just the title alone, it's not something that occurred to me to even ask myself that, who am I, why am I here? So even though I remember when Dr. Sunday first launched the book, and he even sent me a copy of the book electronically, but I didn't read it, I didn't do anything with it. I just, I remember he said, oh, I should just look at it for the style and, have a read. I didn't do anything with it, I left it because it didn't occur to me just to look at the title. And, I just want to urge everybody, first of all, like all the titles of each of this book alone can open something for you. They can open your mind, they can open your doors for you if you read it in such a way where you're connected, like almost connected spiritually to the title. If you connect yourself spiritually to the title, it's like having a topic in mind. If somebody gives you a subject to talk about, if you're not connected with that subject, you can't talk about it. Your memory bank or your filing cabinet in your head will not be able to pick out information about the subject if there's a title that was given to you to write about or discuss. So first of all, each topic or each title of the book is significant, because I think that's where I started. When, again, when Dr. Sunday said, have I read Who Am I? Because the first 2 weeks I was feeling kind of like a underachiever when I came here. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I didn't know anything. that I'm just like a baby that can't even crawl, let alone walk. And when I look around me, I see everyone in this house, they're really high achiever, they're very focused, they know what they're doing, they know where they're going. So Dr. Sunday advised me to have a look at who am I. And that first time when I finished reading, I think I read it in a few days, I just read through it. And I know there's something in that book. I know that book did something, but it wasn't tangible for me. I couldn't kind of note it. And then he said, okay, why don't you also watch the series on YouTube? So I started watching the series, but instead of just watching the series alone, I started watching the series and reading the book again for the second time. And I think that's when I became free. I got rid of anger. So there was no anger with me. I didn't feel like I've lost anything. I was somebody that was chewing over my life being wasted, over not knowing the things that I'm getting to know now. So I was getting angry. I was, some days I would be angry and said, okay, that's it. I'll draw a line over these things now and just face whatever I need to do. But at the point when I started reading Who Am I left everything behind. I forgot about all those things that were giving me pain, and I stopped getting angry. And I started having insight. I started having insight on being a human being, what God has given me as a human being, having the mind, a sound mind, what that means and what I need to do with my sound mind, what I need to do as a creation, as a creation and as a creator as well, that everything that is needed is input is already in me, and I need to harness them and make something of my life. And I think being in this environment, definitely Dr. Sunday would always encourage you. But prior to the time that before I read Who Am I, he would encourage me, but those encouragement just went over my head. Like I didn't feel empowered. But I'm really passionate about this book. I'm really passionate about Who Am I, because if you don't know who you are, this is for everybody. If you don't know who you are, basic is a ground zero basic foundation. There's nothing you can do. There's no, that foundation is lost. That foundation is on, it's not even stand. It's worse, whatever is worse than stand. That's what it is. So for everybody, I think that is one book that we all need to have, because
you say you never even heard of that.
No, the title, yes, the title Who Am I, or even the question Who Am I, is not a question that I've ever asked myself, or I've ever asked other people even to say who are they. We all need to ask ourselves, who are we? Who am I? You? Who are you? Why are you here? And the first, I think I read the first page. I must have read that page like maybe 20 times. The first page, I remember what's in it. I haven't even picked up this book for over a month now, but it's a book that is already it's on my desk, and I always see it, that this is my go-to book. If I ever feel confused, this is the book that I go to. The first chapter was a story, the first page, not even the whole chapter. It was a story about a monk and a guy that is a journalist and goes around asking everybody that questions about who are you, why are you here, and people were giving trivial question answers, irrelevant question, and then he came across a monk kind of person and asked, who are you? And the person said to him, who are you? And then he what's the purpose of it? Then he replied that he's a journalist, and then the guy said, that's your job. Then he replied again and said something else. Maybe he was a father. He said, that's just what you are, like a role, that's not who you are. Who are you? So that page, I read it over and over again. And then there's another, on the first page, there's a first quote that says that the being here is to be true and happy. And I kept on reading over and over, true and happy, true and happy. I'm somebody that was very camera shy, So it was a true and happy quote. I read that quote and I went on YouTube. I did a video about it. I did a video over and over again on just being true and happy. What does it mean to be true and happy? You know these words. You know what it means when somebody says truth. Be truthful. And then what they say is being happy. But when you read it all together, like true and happy, what does that mean? So I kept on asking everybody that, do you even know what it means to be true and happy? True to yourself, an honest person, what does it mean? and then I started looking within myself. I started looking at myself, like, looking at yourself in the mirror to identify who you are. I started looking at my features. That book did a lot for me. I started looking at my features, the things that I couldn't face, even my self-image. That book put it together for me. I could ask myself questions. I started identifying myself, like if you see somebody, to know who the person is. So I look at myself and I was able to identify that this is me, this is my features, this is who I am. From the inside out, I know myself from inside to out, and then from outside also in. I really can't explain this to you. I don't think there's words that I can use to describe who am I, why am I here, I've done in terms of a book. And then there are 3 parts to the book. So there's one part that deals with you just identifying who you are. There's another part identifying you from your past and you going back to your foundation and identifying challenges that are the challenges in life that have caused you to maybe have a stumbling block, or maybe your behavior or your character, what built you to be who you are right now. It takes you back to that. So you have to go back and dig. I mean, that's everything. I think that's like some therapy. That book can be therapy. Yeah, it's a book of therapy. It's a book of everything. Like, instead of going around spending money with therapists and all that, if you read that book and you read each chapter, each page, and there's no way that you're not going to come out a different person, and you're not going to come out to even know who you are, identify who you are. And luckily, there's also a YouTube video, there's a series that helps you with that. So if you're reading the book and you're just reading and reading, then you can also go have time, because what I did was when you're reading, you have to sit in a spot or stand or do whatever and just focus on reading the book. When I read the book and I also listened to the YouTube audios, not audios, videos, but I wasn't watching the video, I was just listening to it as an audio. That really helped as well, because I was moving around and listening, and things were just aligning between the book and my life, and also what the audio is saying, real life, everything just started coming to life. So this book is a book that I feel like is, for me, is close to like a Bible of you. Like when people read Bible, they have new revelation every time. So I feel like if you don't read Bibles, or you're not interested in Bibles, or you don't, or not even interested, because I believe all of us are interested in Bible, because we are all believers. But if you're not a believer and you struggle with reading Bible and understanding the Bible, I think the next step to reading the Bible would be, who am I and why am I here? So that's one thing that I can really say. And then from there are things that, if YouTube is something that I've always wanted to do, that I just didn't have the confidence. And I always feel like there's something wrong when I look at myself in the mirror. Oh, I don't like this. Not in the mirror, in the camera. I don't like this. I don't want this. This is not perfect enough. Who am I? Just dispel all those ideology from, all those fear, just took it away from me. My imperfection, it made me realize that my imperfection were exactly what is needed in order for me to actually help my world. My imperfection were created there. I can use my imperfection to perfect something else, or perfect other people, and to create. So that just went straight out from reading the book. And then, I started the YouTube, even though I did find the YouTube a little bit challenging, but coming out and just being in front of the camera now, and being able to talk and speak to people, and even make mistakes in front of the camera, and, make myself silly and everything, is because I know who I am. It's because I have that confidence to know that this is the person that I am. Not only that I am not perfect right now, but I can be perfect. I am a creator. I have power. All my lapses and things that I can't do well, I have the power and the authority to make it well, to make it better. I don't need to wait for anything or anyone to make it better for me. God has already instilled that in me. So that's one thing that, gave me the confidence as well to be able to speak. And obviously, I have the opportunity from Dr. Sunday, because it was Dr. Sunday that actually pushed me to start talking on Facebook Live. I know we've talked about this so many times, that Facebook Live is something that I actually vowed that I am not doing. I don't want to do live. I don't want to talk to anybody live. And I actually find live much easier now than to do video for YouTube. So can you imagine, I used to think, okay, I'll do video for YouTube and then I'll edit it.
You started doing video.
Yes.
Just a recorded video.
Yes, I did. I started doing recorded video on YouTube and other people.
Like us to avoid live.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. To avoid live, I started doing a recorded video. And if you look at some of the video, please, I'm not going to delete it. Just go and check my page and you'll see that I couldn't even look in the camera. That was before. I used to look up. And then as I started reading Who Am I, you can see the changes. You can see how I'm evolving. It's really obvious. You can see how I'm evolving now. I can look in the camera and obviously the progress now. And also the other thing that I wanted to do so much was a blog. And I used to put all sorts of obstacle about doing a blog. I don't want to do this. This is going to happen. If somebody reads it, the grammar is not right. All that, I just threw it out of the door. It's only time now. It's like what I don't have now is enough time in the day. But in terms of confidence, ideas, faith in myself, those things are not an issue at all. It's just having the time to execute everything, plus the things that are already on ground that needs to be done in order for people to benefit. But I feel so confident. I feel like, right now, from now, there's no going back. Like I can take on anything. I can take on the world. I can, I am a tool for God, and I can make a change. I can make a change in my environment, in my world, to people. There's no obstacle of anything, not financial obstacle, not physical obstacle. There's nothing. I feel like I am a creator myself. Like I can create something. Whatever I can conceive to do, I can do it. And even there's more that needs to be conceived. I feel like there's so many, not even feel, I know. It's not even a feeling, okay? Because I'm not going by emotions here. I am going from the fact of the knowledge that I have now of who I am. That there's nothing that I want to create or needs to be created. And once I decide to do it, I will do it and it would be a success. So who am I, please, guys? For me, I liken who am I to Bible. So that's a Bible for me. It's a Bible of my life. It's a Bible for everything that you need to do. If you just take that book and just dissect it slowly, it's something that every time you read, because I read it, I've read it now 3 times, and each time that I read Who Am I, there's new things, new information, new ideas, new confidence, strength. There's so much that I can do, and that would be part of my my blog. Who Am I is one thing that is a go-to book that everybody that really wants to be something, know their world, know who they are. That's a book that everyone must get. It doesn't matter if you don't ever read anything else. Just read Who Am I and Why Am I Here. If you don't ever read any of Dr. Sunday's book, which, I believe that it would actually propel you to read all the other books and understand that you need all the other knowledge, all the other wisdom. But I'm just saying that if you don't read anything at all, just read that book. And there's more to come. This is just the beginning of the things that will come. It's only time in the day that I feel like I don't have to execute everything that needs to be executed, but I know that I can do it and I will do it. I will definitely do them.